let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about something that is absolutely critical for any project that involves an existing building. I mean, it's the very first step, getting the plans right. We're going to look at how Concept Architectural Designs does this by meticulously documenting buildings, creating that rock-solid foundation every single project needs. So, picture this. You've got a property, you're excited, you're ready to start a renovation, maybe build an addition, but then you hit a wall, and not the kind you're planning to knock down. You realize you have no accurate, up-to-date plans. It's a super common problem, honestly, and it can stop a project dead in its tracks. And that's exactly what we're tackling today, how you go from that uncertainty to a crystal-clear plan of action.
So what do you do when the original blueprints are long gone, or maybe so old they're just wrong? Well, you have to create that certainty from the ground up. This is where the pros come in, to build what's basically a brand new source of truth for your property.
And the professional solution here is something called measured drawings. It's a simple idea, really. It means creating a totally new, super accurate set of architectural plans by getting in there and physically measuring every single nook and cranny of an existing building. You got to think of these drawings as the reliable foundation that every single design choice and construction decision is going to be built on.
And you know, this quote on the slide, it really just nails their mission. It's not fancy, it's not complicated, it's just, hey, you're missing this critical piece of the puzzle, we'll go create it for you. It's about bridging that gap for anyone who owns or works with buildings.
But how does that actually happen? I mean, how do you take a physical space with all its weird angles and details and turn it into a precise digital drawing? Let's walk through that documentation process.
They've really boiled it down to a simple 3-step process, which is great because it takes all the guesswork out of it for the client. First, they measure everything on site. Second, they translate all those numbers into professional drawings. And third, they deliver the final files. Simple, effective, and totally reliable.
Okay, so step 1 is all about getting good data. And that starts right here, on site. We're talking tape measures, laser distance tools, and just a really good eye for detail. This is where accuracy begins, by capturing the building exactly as it is right now.
In this slide just shows that transformation perfectly. On the left, you've got the raw data from the field, that essential hand-drawn sketch with all the dimensions written down. And on the right, you see it turned into a clean, professional, and perfectly scaled CAD plan. That is the we draw phase right there.
And just look at the insane level of detail here. This goes way beyond just measuring walls. You're seeing foundation details, what materials are used, key structural parts. It's this kind of precision that stops those awful, expensive surprises from popping up in the middle of construction. And here's what you get at the end of the day, the deliver part. The final product isn't just a drawing. It's really a communication tool. It's clear, it's color-coded, it has all the dimensions and a legend that anyone on the team, from the architect to the builder to the client, can actually understand and use.
So, you've got these perfect 2D plans in your hands. Now what? Well, this is where the real fun starts. This is where you stop just documenting what is and start designing what could be.
You can take those flat 2D plans and build them up into these amazing 3D models. This means a homeowner can see exactly what their renovated house is going to look like. The new kitchen, the deck, the addition, all before anyone even thinks about picking up a hammer. And it's not just for houses. This same power is huge for commercial projects, maybe even more so. I mean, look at this. You can see the vision for turning an old, greasy tire shop into this awesome modern cafe. A clear visual like this is absolutely essential for things like getting funding or getting everyone on the team excited about the project. And you can zoom in to get super specific. Because you started with an accurate floor plan, you can design custom pieces like this reception desk with total confidence. You see the floor plan, the side views, the 3D model, all to make sure that when it's built, it's going to fit perfectly.
Now, obviously, the need for good plans isn't limited to just one type of building. It's universal, and we can see here how these solutions are tailored for both homes and businesses.
So while the core process, measure, draw, deliver, is the same, what people do with the plans can be really different. For a homeowner, it might be about an addition or just getting accurate plans for a rental property. But for a business, it could be for reconfiguring an office space, making sure they're up to code, or planning where to put tons of heavy equipment.
And they can handle any scale, which is pretty incredible. On the left, you've got a detailed layout of a single apartment where every single inch counts. Then on the right, you have a massive master plan for a whole riverfront development. It just shows they've got the chops for any size project. Now you'll see they focus their work in 4 main areas:
And that's not just random. It means they have deep, local knowledge of the specific building codes and practices in each of those regions. And trust me, that kind of local expertise can save a project a ton of time and money.
And what's cool is they don't just do the work, they also share what they know. You can see here they have a blog and a YouTube channel. They're putting valuable information out there for the whole industry, which is a great way to educate people and build trust.
Okay, so let's tie all of this together. Why does all this painstaking measuring and drawing actually matter? Well, it all comes down to one thing: taking the risk out of your project so you can build on a foundation of certainty.
So here's the bottom line. When you have accurate plans, you can make smart decisions about design and money. You slash the risk of running into those expensive mistakes during construction. You make getting permits way easier. And all of that adds up to one thing: a successful project. It's as simple as that. And that kind of leaves us with one final question for you to think about. If you've got a project in mind for a building you already own, is your plan built on solid ground, or is it kind of built on guesswork?
For anyone who wants to make sure they're building on that solid ground, Concept Architectural Designs has a really clear path to get you started. You can just reach out to them for an estimate or schedule a consultation. That's all for this one. Thanks for tuning in.